Imagine a place where the story of southeastern Arizona is told in an engaging and entertaining way, compelling visitors to go out and walk the paths and see the places of the legends of Cochise County. We call this place the Arizona Western Heritage Cultural Center, to be located in Benson, Arizona, the gateway to Cochise County, land of legends. We imagine a collection of stories woven together in a way visitors can identify with the beginnings of our recorded history, starting with the colonial Spanish explorers. They came and tried several times to settle the San Pedro River Basin to make a life and carve out a place for their families to thrive, but it was not to be. The local Chiricahua Apache tribes continually stole their cattle, burned their crops, and raided their settlements. These fierce nomadic warriors sought to protect their lands from outsiders as they roamed the mountain ranges in what we now know as Arizona and Sonora, Mexico. Finally, in the late 1800s, the Apaches had to give in. Geronimo, a shaman, not a chief, surrendered, leading to the eventual removal of the native peoples from their homeland to make way for the new white settlers. But that part is intertwined with the U.S. military part of our story. The U.S. military has had a long and colorful history in the western states, and here in Arizona, their presence from the mid-1800s began when troops with the mission of making the land safe for new settlers came to live in the Gadsden Purchased lands. They mapped the land and established camps and forts in the region. Their mission to subdue the local natives was a constant engagement of pursuit and being pursued. Here in the Southwest, the Buffalo Soldiers distinguished themselves during and after the Civil War as they rode patrol between camps at Fort Bowie, Camp Grant, and Camp Huachuca. As the land began to settle down after 1895, more and more settlers came to find a life in this wild and wonderful landscape. The land had grass, and cattle left from the old Spanish colonials were rounded up, branded, and run on the open range. The Slaughter Ranch and other ranches established large land holdings that were reminiscent of the Spanish land grants of an earlier time. The Mormon camps were settled, and new farms began to spring up. Settlements sprang up quickly around natural resources, old trails, and crossroads. Southern Arizona was a bustling place to be in the early days. Today, our landscape is sprinkled with the ghostly remains of those early boom and bust towns. Since Spanish colonial explorers in the 16th and 17th centuries came looking for the legendary City of Gold, Arizona has been one of the places minerals were sought and found. Gold was not plentiful, but natural deposits of copper and silver made many rich, beginning with simple panning methods, then advancing to digging and blasting into the rocks far underground. This is the area known as the Copper Plate, and it has drawn men to the area for centuries to harvest the rich mineral deposits of the region. The granite formations which hold the minerals are hard and difficult to extract the minerals. By the turn of the century, mining was big business in southeastern Arizona. Bisbee was one of the largest towns in the West, and towns like Benson and Wilcox were booming too. But the new blasting products were dangerous to handle and difficult to get shipped in. That's when a group of enterprising mine owners banded together to create the Apache Powder Company just south of Benson. It was centrally located and right on the rail line, making it easy to supply all the mines in the Copper Plate region. So began the story of dynamite in Arizona. Apache Powder Company supplied the safer dynamite sticks, which replaced the very dangerous liquid nitroglycerin, and became a staple product for the region. Apache Powder produced dynamite from 1920 until 1986 as the only explosives factory in Arizona. It provided products for Hoover Dam and every major mine project in Arizona and in many surrounding states. Yet dynamite production was to come to an end and was replaced in the late 1980s by the more modern and much safer pelletized blasting products called Prill. The story of the region and many of the current settlements can't be told without the story of transportation. Early on, the wagon trains powered by horses, mules, and oxen provided the means to get materials in and out of the region. But these were slow and dangerous in the mountainous regions and easily attacked by the Apache tribesmen. Butterfield stage lines ran for a time as a swifter way to move materials and people between Missouri and California. In Arizona, that trail ran through Cochise County. Later, the Pony Express would make its short-lived appearance alongside the stage and freight companies, but it was the Iron Horse that opened the area. Benson was established as a railroad town in 1880 by the Southern Pacific Railroad Company. By 1881, it tied the east and the west to Arizona and Southeastern Railroad Company, serving Fairbank, Tombstone, Bisbee, and Douglas. The region would not have become the place of mining, ranching, and agricultural production it was without the rails. The latest story to emerge in our area was the entertainment business. After Edison discovered how to create a moving picture show, the Pioneer West was a natural theme to exploit. It told the romantic story of pioneer spirit, exploration, action, and adventure that the larger population craved. So we have the movie and music industry to thank for planting an image of our wild and raw land with the outside world that still exists in the minds of many around the world today. The movies made with John Wayne, Tom Mix, Gene Autry, Richard Widmark, Jimmy Stewart, and John Ford still stir the imagination of people all around the globe. Many of those movies, along with their music and television shows, were filmed in southern Arizona, and many on locations in Cochise County. Even today, Western movie producers and directors come to locations throughout Cochise County to film modern movies portraying the Western pioneer spirit. But how can we tell these exciting stories in a way which intertwines them in context of time and place, told in a way which makes the experiences of our pioneer heritage come alive and connect with today? An engaging story compelling visitors to go out and live the story today in the places where they happened. Our concept for the Arizona Western Heritage Cultural Center is designed to do just that, to engage visitors and then move them into the region. We see the center as a portal to the many individual stories being told throughout the county and throughout the region together. An interactive guide for visitors to experience our rich history, cultural, and lifestyle through a rich, immersive storytelling environment, tying all 6 of the story lines into a rich, contextual web. A storytelling engaging visitors from 8 to 80. A place where visitors can begin with their interests and then discover how their interests are woven through the other stories happening at the same time in the same places. Please join with us to help make this dream a reality. Our goal is to create a world-class interpretive center blending modern and engaging technology with age-old storytelling techniques, bringing the story alive to visitors of all ages and interests. The Cultural Center is not only entertaining, it will also be a unique educational opportunity for children and adults to learn about our heritage. The Cultural Center acts as an enlightening guide for visitors to experience our rich history, culture, and lifestyle while strengthening tourism and economic activity in the region. We need you to join with us to create this vision. We need you to bring your financial support, your influence, and any other support to make this the world-class project it can be. Our northern neighbors have the Grand Canyon and the lakes in Colorado. Our region has the origins of settlement and the actions which opened the West for development. Our story is one which has not been told in its entirety in a way that really engages people effectively. Join with us, become a sponsor and supporter of the Arizona Western Heritage Cultural Center as we create the story of this wild and wonderful and sometimes dangerous place called Cochise County, Land of Legends.